We've been able to detect a few more offences than normal, yeah, I would agree with you. It's been a bit of a busy weekend.
Does that mean that more people are driving under the influence?
No, not necessarily. My opinion is that we've become more effective at detecting these. We've got better tools, and the changes in legislation in the last just under 2 years ago have made it better and a little bit easier for us to be able to detect these offences. So not that there's been an increase, but that we are able to detect those that were happening in the past, which we couldn't do before.
Inspector, demoralising though, because it is a message that we thought had got across.
I would agree with you somewhat. You know, the message has been received, and you know, over the last 5-6 years, you can see that people that go out at night and they go for a meal or they go out for drinks with their friends, they do more and more they walk to wherever they're going. The thing is that with drug driving in particular, it used to be a lot more difficult to detect, because if you drink, I can smell that you've been drinking. So it's easy for me to formulate the suspicion that you perhaps are driving whilst over the limit. With drugs, because there's no smell to it, you rely more on the bodily functions and the way the body language of the person. So it used to be a lot more difficult. Nowadays, because of changes in legislation and the equipment that we use, at the moment that we suspect that you are driving somewhat impaired, we can make you take the test, and this test will automatically tell us whether you've been using drugs and what drug you've been using.
Well, that's something that's fairly new. Is there an age demographic?
Yeah, all sorts. I wouldn't say that the youngsters are the ones that you know, commit these offences more than others. The reality is that the older generation don't go out as much as the younger ones, so obviously there's more young people out and about than the older generation. But it's to do with trends. I mean, for the last 5 to 10 years worldwide, there's police forces have noticed that there has been an increase in drug driving. The problem with drug driving, as I've previously explained, and the fact that it's odorless, you know.
Well, in the case of drugs, it's something that you probably thought you could get away with because it's never been tested in the past.
Exactly. I mean, there will have been many occasions that police officers will have stopped somebody who has been drinking and taking drugs, and the fact that they've been under the limit, they may have got away with it. Nowadays, because they are subjected to both tests, they won't get away with it. So yes, you know, it's one of those things that we've become more effective, and we're happier for it, because if the message got through before, now people will realize that if you're not going to listen to the fact that drinking and driving, or using drugs and driving, is dangerous, then you're going to pay the penalty.